Today we'll be looking into the interview of Yasmine Ben Salmi. Yasmine is one of many authors from the Ben Salmi family. In the interview, she will be explaining who she is and how she came up with the idea of writing books.
Well, first of all, my name's Yasmine Ben Salmi. I'm 14 years old. I'm an author, a public speaker, and a mentor. And my purpose is to eradicate low self-esteem by increasing and improving self-love within all people from all walks of life. So my journey kind of started back when I was in school, where I was bullied. And that really gave me a thought of, is this the person that I'm going to be, being bullied and, just staying in the corner and not doing anything about it, and then having low self-esteem, not wanting to talk to anybody. And that led to me, not wanting to talk to my family, to friends, or even just to teachers as well, because I was bullied that much. And, I just felt as though, if that person didn't like me, would the world like me as well? So I started to have self-doubt as well. Our mum started to take us to personal development events where I started to learn a little bit more about how I can channel my energy, how I can help others, and how I can also help myself. So I then started to write books varied on self-love, joy and happiness. I've also written a book teaching girls about their menstrual cycle and female empowerment. I've recently released a book called The Choice Is Yours, I'm Not Just a Pretty Face Because I'm Intelligent Too. And that is on women empowerment, teaching women that, our body and our, our outside or our physique and our, appearance isn't just everything, because we have things that we want to add to the world. So in that book, there's an acronym teaching people and, those who want to learn more about a female's perspective of how, females were told, because you're this certain gender, you can't do this. Or even nowadays where we may be higher up than some males, but yet we're still being paid less. So that's one issue that I wanted to, fix. So I wrote that book. One of the areas that I'd like to go into when I grow up is to become either a dermatologist or an anesthesiologist / a surgeon. So I wrote a book with a medical illustrator, and he is the first Black medical illustrator who made history, and his name is called Chidiberry Ibe. So I wrote a book with him, and it's here with me now. It was absolutely amazing being on this journey with him. So this is one of his illustrations, and he's got more illustrations in the book. So all of our books are available on Amazon. So I guess my journey kind of started from me finding what I was passionate about, and then teaching other people what they can then turn their, their hobbies, their side hustles into, things that they can teach other people to do, make money into it, and, just live life being happy. Some events that I've spoken at is Chelsea, Virgin, and the Best You Expo with over 15,000 attendees for the 2 days. And I've also spoken at a technology company called Equinix, where I taught all of their employees self-love. And, you may find it a bit weird, as though, being a 14-year-old and I know a lot about self-love, happiness, and that then you come to an event where you're then teaching adults how to be happy and to love themselves. I got like a little bit of an insight of, it wasn't that they didn't know what it was, but they didn't know how to, love themselves, because they've been through so much trauma during their lives, where they thought that, is this where I'm just going to be, not knowing self-love, not knowing how to be happy. So over that course of, speaking to those employees and, giving them insight of how they can be happy, how they can love themselves, and also how they can project love to others too, I came up with a 3-pillar system, and that includes something to do, someone to love, and something to hope for. And those 3 pillars really tied into, everything of life. As humans, we need to be occupied. So that was something to do. We also need someone to love, whether that is ourselves, our family members, our friends, or even just a pet. We need to have action steps where we know that's what we want and what we're going to do to get it. So that is something to hope for. So when I went through that stage, I started to realize, although I came up with this now, this really ties a lot into my journey. I had to find something to do. which was, to motivate, to inspire the next generation, to inspire adults and people like me. And my little brother Amir, he was the one that taught me about affirmations as well, where it really started to, hit me at a point where I went, well, isn't this something that they should teach children in schools? They never really teach children about how to, love themselves, how to make themselves happier. So I guess that's where I learned that aspect of loving myself from my little brother. And it really got me to, finding quotes to do with self-love. And I've got one with me here today. And it says, if you're looking for that one person that will change your life, take a look in the mirror. So I had to take that look in the mirror. And I had to do that multiple times. And, sometimes it may be uncomfortable, seeing your reflection many times and not knowing what to do. But once you, find that one time where, you're grounded, you know who you are and you know what you want to do, you have to take that moment and, appreciate yourself. Because, one thing that I would love to tell everybody is that, we may have friends that, we think are going to stick with us throughout the rest of our lives. But, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes people, will tell you how great you are and then leave you. So that's one thing that I had to learn, nobody lasts forever. And, we stay with ourselves forever. So why not make ourselves our best friend? So that was the quote. And, something that I'd like to leave you guys off with as a quote is, don't fear failure. Instead, fear being in the same place today as you are next year. I guess finding my topics, finding what I wanted to teach people, and also finding what I wanted to learn myself. I never really found tools that, were aimed at young people, teaching them how to love themselves and, self-love and everything. So I guess I just wanted to write what I'd love to be taught. Well, the family and my mum as well. My mum is basically, what helped everybody. So I guess finding our unique talents, and then, my mum majored in computer science. So, that was one of her specialities as well. Well, I guess from a young age, I've always loved the aspect of, helping people. So then I dived deeper into, looking at how I can serve people more. So I guess one of the fields that I really, all the time, I've always wanted to, go into was either to become an anesthesiologist, a dermatologist, or a plastic surgeon. And, seeing the effects in social media, how, people are told that they have to look a certain way in order to have, certain followers, or certain people tell them that, you are enough and everything. So I guess I really wanted to change the perspective of how surgery is projected through social media, as, sometimes it's for cosmetic reasons. So I guess I just wanted to help people to, remove pain or past traumas by, through a simple surgery. So that's basically where the idea is spirited from. Well, I guess because we lack so much about, taking care for ourselves, and think a lot more about, others. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with, catering to other people's needs. But sometimes when we cater too much to other people's needs, we neglect our self needs. So I guess really as a generation now, where everybody's so tied into, who looks at me, how many followers do I have, and how many views do I get? And, you kind of think, well, who is that person behind the views and the followers? What does that person like? What is that person's hobbies? So I guess that's what I really want to teach people, that, you can have the amazing followers, the amazing views, but you also need to have, time for yourself. I like to call it me time, where, you might just sit down, watch your favorite TV show, listen to music, or even, just do whatever you love to do. Some of the things that I like to do in my spare time is to journal. So I guess, finding me time, and that's where I think, self-love ties into all of it. I guess as an analogy that I would put it in, as the world, as we have social media and we have, people telling us different ways we should do this, it's like us being a sieve, and, the world's got the tap on, and they're telling us, oh, we're going to feed you this much, and, you're going to fill up. But as you're a sieve, there's holes. You're lacking, who to trust, what to listen to, and where to turn to. So it's mainly just learning to turn off the tap and replace the sieve with a cup, and fill up that knowledge or that time, and really know that if you want something that bad, you'll do anything to do it or to get it. Another good question. Well, if you think about it, we stay in school for 18 years and we're told that we need to learn all these subjects, we need to ace all these tests. Do they really discuss what you want to do when you grow up, or what steps you're going to take in order to be that thing? So I guess where we need to find it is, not in schools, but through, elders, through, I guess this will revert back to a quote that a lot of people use, and it's like, it takes a village to raise a child. So always going back to find those people who knew what they were going to do, who knew where they wanted to go, and go back to them, ask them questions, pick their brains sometimes. And I guess it's not always best to find like research on on the internet. Sometimes it's good to revert back to books. Start reading, start filling yourself up with knowledge, because they can tell you so much things on social media, but when you go read a book, you find so much more. So I guess filling yourself up with knowledge by reading, by connecting with people, and sometimes stay off social media for a bit.